Whip. There we go. Sure. You will be so scared. Yes. I will be so scared. This is the beginning of chapter 2. We haven't done anything yet here in chapter 2, so let's start with an actual message conversation, because usually those are like 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, okay. So let's see what we are doing.
Experience supplemental fragment. Being secretive.
Oh, 007.
Hey, you all there?
Hey, it's back. They couldn't avoid it, right? Hey is back. Hey.
Of course. What's up?
Well, I just want to thank you for letting me join the chat.
No problem. The pleasure's all mine.
I think I have to shrink myself a little bit. There we go.
Oddly enough, I actually feel like I'm part of the group now.
Let me guess. You didn't before?
Shapeshifter. Oh, don't. I know what you mean in this case, but I was like, I read Shapeshifter and the first thing that came to my mind was a changeling from Little Guardsman.
Not really. But getting added to the chat kind of changed my perspective.
Yeah, it tends to do that.
What do you mean?
It's kind of like a paradox. You're not part of the group until you're part of the group.
I don't follow.
The same thing happened with Delta. By the time we added them, they were already moved in. It's like a rite of passage. Making it official, you know?
I guess it makes sense.
Don't listen to them, Clays. Delta didn't even feel that way. It was just decided for them.
Yeah, and we're doing it again.
Please don't. You should let people tell you how they feel instead of choosing it for them.
I like that. Let's do that.
It's so much better when you control the narrative, though.
Says the writer.
Hey, don't be rude to Dante. His writing changed my life.
That's pretty dramatic.
You feel welcome. Yes.
But it's true. You're a genius, plain and simple.
This is flattery.
And this is a completely new pose that we haven't seen from Dante ever. And I like it. This feels like this is the first time Dante is like in an absolute honest position. Like, this feels like, oh look, it's Dante. When he's not like anxious or anything.
Please continue.
Well, before we got into all that, I was about to suggest something. And if you're as smart as I think, there's no way you disagree.
Go on.
Well, you keep saying that I'm one of you now, but I definitely feel like the odd one out.
Because of the stardom?
I don't know. I just feel better if I could have a nickname in the chat. I wouldn't want people to find out I'm here and try to get to me through you.
Oh, I see what you mean. You're totally right.
all the wrong names come to mind, and most of them are offensive in some form.
Speaking of controlling the narrative,
Hey, I'm not controlling anything. Great minds just think alike.
They definitely do.
That's not the expression at all. It's more like stupid is as stupid does.
And I still think my model is too big. Cool. Shrinking time. I'm so small now. That's okay.
You calling us stupid?
No, I call you dumb. It's so much different.
If you don't know, then you're only proving my point.
hey, all of you, in the interest of conserving my rapidly declining IQ, what kind of nickname would you suggest?
Bubblegum. Or cotton candy.
That is a terrible choice in any shape or form, and also it takes far too long to write it out. So people will shorten that to BG or CC. That works if I have to call your name. If I have to write your name, then this is far too complicated. No, the nickname is okay. This here is not a real conversation from person to person. They show it from person to person, but this is a chat. Like this displays the conversation in a chat room. And let's assume someone tells you, oh, call me bubblegum or cotton candy. You can be assured that most people will shorten the nickname even shorter to something like BG or CC or candy, because everything else is too long to actually write. It's fine when you're on the computer, then it's no problem to write it out. But when you're on the phone, it's a pain.
Cotton candy, huh? I dig it. Love the way it melts in my mouth.
That's pretty gay.
Alright, bubblegum it is.
Instantly declined. Get wrecked.
Denied.
Yep, burned.
Sounds pretty cool, actually.
Just so you know, and I mean this respectfully, I will absolutely mess up and use your name.
Well, I'll change my picture and name then. If you slip up and call me Clace, just censor it in any screenshots.
A fair compromise.
Censor it in any screenshot? Huh? What screenshots?
I was gonna try and put your mind at ease by telling you how secure this chat is, but I know Taylor posts screenshots of it every day on social media.
Ah, that explains the screenshot. I see.
Yeah, that's kind of why I brought this up. But I'm not gonna tell him to stop. It's your chat, not mine.
Hey, there's no need to do that. Back at the nightclub, we promised you privacy. Let me help you out here. It's not a big deal.
I'd really appreciate it. This vacation is supposed to be a blast. I wouldn't want it to turn into something stressful.
It's settled then. But you're appearing on Taylor's stream, right? It might be a bit harder to keep your presence low-key.
Nah, it's fine. None of my viewers know where I live. I'm a private guy too, so I can understand Clace's request.
Oh, that's fair. Well, anyway, back to what we were saying earlier. We're happy to have you here, Clace. And you're safe with us.
Yeah, if anyone messes with you, I might just get angry.
Can he even get angry? That's the complete different question.
I'd be willing to put up a moderate to severe fight.
See? Your own personal bodyguards.
Thanks, guys.
What does this?
Experience supplemental fragment. Being serious.
Oh.
Is everything all right, Isaac? I mean, the whole Chiron thing.
Yeah, seems to be going just fine. No suspicion, no anything, really.
No heat?
We're as cold as ice.
Taylor, I know it's a bit hard, but we have to trust him. He can't be here to put our minds at ease all the time.
I guess you're right.
Well, let's just gloss over the part where you said it's hard to trust me, I guess.
Oh, we're glossing.
But we could use a bit of reassurance. Right, Clace? This could turn into a scandal.
I don't know. I've never had a reason to doubt Isaac. Why should this be any different?
See, Taylor, you're overreacting. If we were gonna get caught, it would have happened by now. And things are only gonna get better from here on out.
Better?
Don't poke the nest, Isaac. Remember, Argus isn't exactly on standby anymore.
What does that mean?
Well, Argus usually keeps to themselves, but with these protests, I hear they're sending out agents.
Yeah, and you wonder why I'm freaking out.
It's not like they're here for us, Taylor. They're gonna be dealing with the Zeros.
Yeah, this is the biggest security breach we've ever had. Compared to that, we're absolutely nothing. Think about perspective.
There it is. That stands.
I'm thinking, but it's just not doing me any good. It's like,
That something bad
Oh,
will happen?
Sorry.
or already has, and we're just not aware of it.
Let's see what Isaac has to say then. How exactly are you making things better?
Well, Chiron has a phone and identity, but it's pretty bare bones. So, while he's a valid citizen, I need to make it more believable.
And how do you plan to do that?
Well, I do have some high-level access, remember? So I've been giving him a life record, not just an identity. You know, family history, score history, social media.
Oh, really? And is he being a good citizen?
He has his ups and downs, but it looks realistic for sure. Had to be certain, just in case anyone ever decided to take a look. I know we're safe, but I figured this could put your mind at ease too.
I also didn't tell him anything about this, so he doesn't know he has a family and what things happened in his past in the social media part, right?
You're allowed to do stuff like that?
I shouldn't, but yeah. And don't worry, it's untraceable. Been using all that knowledge I picked up.
This all feels so wrong. Can you at least promise me one thing?
I'll try my best.
If we ever are in trouble, please just tell us. I don't want to see this tough guy routine while the world takes us down. We deserve to know, Isaac.
Now there's something I can agree with.
Yeah. If something changes, please tell us.
Of course! Remember, this is all my doing. No matter what happens, you'll be safe. But I have to say, this does feel good. I mean, giving Chiron the life he wants to have, not the one that Argus or his parents chose for him.
Oh, I hate how that's illegal.
Maybe it won't be that way forever, right?
I don't know. But I'm curious about one thing. How can you adjust people's scores like that?
I'm kind of a prodigy.
Seriously, Isaac?
Fine. It's a mix of Argus's trust in me and my own abilities. Don't act like I haven't been doing it for a while either. Remember those discounts I gave all of you?
A rebel since day one.
Yeah, but now I've got a cause.
Damn, our enemies better watch out.
So it doesn't look like Chiron just popped into existence anymore.
Kind of, but not really. I didn't add that much, just strengthened the core. The more edits I make, the more suspicious it'd look in the logs.
Quality over quantity, I assume.
Bingo.
Think everything out, plan it ahead, and make one edit. Right?
Experience pivotal fragment. Grounded yet free.
If you could make them love you, would you still love yourself? Just as planned, the gang meets up in the private jet. Everything was a bit more clear, but far from being set in stone. Especially if we were planning to bring Chiron to the Wayfarer with us. Just by default, places like that already had above average security. But if Isaac really did pull this off, I guess there wouldn't be any issues. The paranoia that others felt is slowly finding its place inside of me. Chiron and Clace are sitting at one of the couches in the back. They either beat us here, or they've been here all along. For some reason, I'm surprised that they hit it off. They exchange smiles as they look down on Chiron's phone. Clace must be showing him what he can do with his new device. I bet it feels like a whole new world just opened up for him.
Hey, what are the lovebirds up to?
Me? And him?
Wow, when you say it like that, I'm offended.
No, I just meant...
Don't worry, Chiron, he's joking. Taylor's the king of putting people on the spot.
Yeah, but the crown is just way too heavy, so I leave it at home. Maybe you can come visit and take a look sometime.
Taylor is like... He's like, I'm a magnet.
He's also the king of flirting at the worst possible time.
Yes. He's literally flirting with everybody. Doesn't even matter who it is. It's just like, I like them for visual fact 1. Okay, let's flirt with them.
Whatever. We're bonding over crimes. Isn't that the best way to do it?
Definitely not.
And suddenly the gravity of the situation sets in. No matter what, we were still aiding and abetting a zero. Would that really make our bond stronger? For some reason, I doubt it. I really hope this has nothing to do with why they are in touch why they aren't in touch in their visions.
What were you two up to anyway? I hope we didn't intrude on anything.
He was just showing me some cool things I can do on my phone. Why do you ask? Is that a hint of jealousy I sense?
No, I can do cool stuff on my phone too. Just didn't picture you two as compatible.
Silence, bottom.
He's pretty cool, actually. Even plays guitar. I'm letting him listen to some of my music.
It's really aggressive. Not a fan of music made on a computer, I guess. There's just something about the feel of those strings, you know?
As the conversation continues, we all move to seats of our own. Chiron really is just like one of us. I can't understand the logic of Argus. It's not like Chiron chose to be born on a colony. It was forced upon him. For example, if I left the city, I would never be allowed to return. What? How do you travel then? Like, how do you travel? Why is everybody forced to stay in the city? We didn't have this topic yet. Is this now turning into Tales Noir 2? And if I had children on the colony, they would be stuck here too, there too. The choice to separate from Argus condemns your entire bloodline. Yeah, which is not okay. Seems far from fair.
Well, more power to you two then. Maybe you'll get to feature on his next album.
You know, to some degree, this feels like the major criticism of what China is going towards. But at the same time, it feels also like it also feels like a social criticism in general.
And put an even bigger target on myself? Yeah, no thanks. I feel scared to even leave this plane. I'm working on it though.
I hope you are, because I did some recon. Looks like you'll be joining us at the tavern for sure.
Oh? The sleuthing went well?
Far from sleuthing, but yeah. Just have a couple hoops to jump through.
All of a sudden, I'm curious about what Isaac has to say. Finalizing our tavern plans was the whole reason we came here after all. But now that he says Karen can come too, I feel a bit more invigorated. And it makes sense to me now, how him and Clace were able to bond. He was scared to leave the plane, and Clace likes to hide away in here. Both things seem to add up perfectly to the site placed before me.
Hoops? What happened?
Just another thing for the pile, I guess.
Guys, it's not bad, I promise. But we'll have to sneak Chiron in the back door.
What? Why?
Yeah, I'm confused too. I thought the whole point of this was for him to be equal. Now we're sneaking him in like he doesn't even have an identity?
Oh, and here we go. You know, I say like this is also a social critical game, not just like, here, this is the future of China, because exactly of this. Now we have the topic of equality and what is the other word? Equity? Equity. Equality and equity. And while in our lives on this planet, most people are screaming for equality, it's not what you really want. You do not want equality, you want equity. And equity is just a fancy word of saying fairness. Because equality is not gonna be fair to everybody. It just balances a situation to everybody the same thing. That's not what we want. We want for everybody in their specific situation the best. That's fairness. Like in the worst case, when you look at it, you have the child with his child bicycle. You have the average adult with his bicycle. And you have the rich guy with his motorcycle. If you would call for equality, then the child and the rich guy remove what they have and they get the bicycle of the average guy. How is this going to help the child? How is the rich guy going to feel about that? Equity takes the situation you're in and gives you what you need. That makes you happy. It's basically the first situation. Like, that's the thing. It's a little bit of a strange example. But yeah, in equality, only one will be happy because they are like literally still in the same situation. But everybody else is gonna be not happy. because they get now the same solution as the one party that is already happy. I don't know. It's like, we shouldn't strive for equality, we should strive for equity. That's so much better.
Basically.
Want to tell us why?
I will, but you have to stop cutting me off every single time. I get that you're worried and confused, but you need to let me explain.
Without a word, everybody simply nods.
Well, it turns out the Wayfarer is running on outdated software. I can only guarantee that my fix works if the place is up to date. We could try, but honestly, it'd be pretty risky.
I guess that makes sense. But don't you have experience with out-of-date tech?
That's true. His car was far from current.
I feel like they'd notice if a random guy just pops up. Wouldn't we risk getting caught no matter what we do?
Not really.
Isaac smirks like he has everything figured out.
You know how sometimes they ID you a second time when you order drinks? Those handheld scanners are always up to date, maintained by Argus. So, if we arouse any suspicion, Chiron should pass that check just fine.
Well, yeah, but that's not how modifications work. He was prepared for the current version of the software. Well, I have no experience with programming and stuff, so I don't know. He also didn't say actually what exactly this means, that the front door tech is outdated and what actually is the cause why he would have a problem. Well, yeah, it is. Why would I need a more complicated, heavy, expensive computer when I have a smartwatch? Right? Smartwatch has also CPU inside, can calculate things faster than I do. It's enough to calculate my Windows 20, right? Just put this on my mainboard, solder it in, go. That's true, it also doubles as a method of payment. Yes, that was a joke. Dante held his phone up against one at the nightclub when he ordered tequila.
Kinda makes sense when I think about it. Didn't realize a version mismatch was that big of a deal.
It might not seem like it, but yeah. What we have right now is basically a key. I can't guarantee it'll work if they change the lock.
Everyone is silent, following through on their promise to let him speak.
We cool?
It all makes sense, does it? Bypass the outdated tech and get them to use a handheld scanner. I looked up the pictures of the Wayfarer and outdated does seem to fit.
I'm cool with all this if you are, but what happens if the handheld scan doesn't work?
Oh, that's when we run.
Beautiful.
Chiron smirks and lets out a soft laugh. He scans the plane with his eyes and looks content.
Well, at least I know exactly where to run to. Thanks again, Isaac, for everything you've done.
No problem. Hopefully this is just the start of a new age. Did you see the latest headlines about Hermes?
Oh god, not Hermes. Depends on which Hermes we are talking about. If it's the Hermes from God of War, he's an asshole.
Who?
The leader of Cypher. No one knows who they are, though. Just a code name that seemed to stick.
Can't say I have.
They threatened Argus. Said they won't back down. Apparently, they still want to get phones to all your friends. They said it'd either be done by them or by Argus.
An ultimatum to Argus. That's certainly bold, but if you can pull this off, I'm sure they can too. No offense, but I'd wager Hermes is smarter.
Well, I don't think it matters if they can or not. If Argus doesn't step in, all the Zeros will starve and die. Remember, due to our rules, this is a hunger strike too. And not only that, but Cypher would step in, publicly overpowering Argus. They have the chance to save lives and their own public image. All they have to do is make the right choice.
Let the Zeros live in the city, you mean?
I don't see any other option for the people in power. It seems like a total checkmate, doesn't it?
Lose to a mysterious rebel organization or let innocent people die? If I were Argus, I think I'd know exactly what to do. Pride isn't always worth the price.
Well, Argus is so mysterious, we have no idea what they're thinking. If this is when they show their true colors, I just hope we like what we see.
Oh, don't worry. They are also producing crystal-like fluids that like literally kill you. And they use it to make like funny little creatures they put into boxes and become like batteries and switches and so on. And we store them underground the city. Like all of that is just batteries all over. Oh wait, that's the wrong game.
Yeah, those protests seem to be getting pretty heated. I'd hate if they escalated into violence and people got hurt. Do you think Argus might force them out of the city?
I doubt it. Remember, the spotlight is on them now. Every move they make will be scrutinized as much as possible. It really looks like we might be moving toward unity for once.
Not toward Unity. That's a terrible engine. You should never support it anymore. He looks over at Karen and smirks.
And in that case, we didn't do anything wrong. We were just ahead of the curve.
I guess I'm not surprised. We could see the tensions mounting right in front of us. Let's just hope that Argus wants to negotiate and compromise.
Did Cypher issue a timeline for this?
Yep, right after New Year's. During the anime convention, too.
No, not the anime convention. Think of the cosplayers.
Looks like it'll be an interesting couple weeks then. Happy to be part of the gang and have front row seats. And if the world goes down, well, at least we all go down together.
Love the sound of that.
No.
Of course he tunes in at the first mention of getting down.
Hey, what can I say?
Ideally nothing.
Small laugh between friends ensues, as everything seems a bit better. No, divide we stand, united we fall, our corporate overlords. Yay! I'm a bit scared since we seem to be on the verge of a big societal change. No, not this societal. Yeah. But the uncertainty of what the change is starts to terrify me. I would like to believe that Argus is good and they'll compromise with the Zeros. I would like to believe that Argus is good and they will compromise with the Zeros. Maybe. However, we hardly know anything about them, just that they are kind of in charge. This is their chance to step in and show the world who they really are. And by extension, seal our own fates as well.
So, what's next then?
Well, we have our game plan for the weekend. Let's say we meet at the Wayfarer after supper on Friday.
Yeah, works for me. Kinda excited to see what this place is like. I'll meet you nearby, and we can work on sneaking me in.
And with that, we know that Isaac is British. I'm not too knowledgeable on all the lore. Is Argus a corporation or is it a matrix of some sort? It's actually a corporation. but barely anybody knows anything about it. It's basically like the whole Komorebi happened and people went like overboard with it, did like stupid stuff, caused accidents, caused death, because they couldn't handle it. And then out of the blue, literally Argus started to exist as a company and take over and putting all these control measurements into their lives. AKA, they became China. It's like, it's China as a corporation. Seems like, but barely anybody knows anything about Argus.
And only a few days later, it's time for the quantum leap.
The what?
Oh yeah, they mentioned that the other day. I never did get an explanation on what it is.
It's just a tradition I'm starting. You know how midnight is the best part of New Year's Eve? Well, we rig a few clocks so we get to do it 4 times in one night.
Whoa, that sounds awesome. Will Chiron be able to come?
I'm not so sure about that right now. Let's see how things go at the Wayfarer.
I'm okay with that. Wouldn't want to be a thorn in anyone's side, but I do have one question. Could you take me to the Triple R?
We all exchange glances before directing our eyes toward Isaac.
It's current. Shouldn't be a problem at all. How about we meet there tomorrow?
Yeah, sure thing. It'll be our first group outing. Let's just hope that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hope.
Taylor holds up his hand like he's raising an invisible shot glass.
Here's to, living life on the edge?
Karen smirks, raising his paw as well.
The best place to be.
View Journal Entry 1.
Yeah, lots of text. Let's see before I actually... Sunday, December 22nd, 2041. Well, the nightclub outing was certainly intense. Turns out that part of Isaac's big surprise was introducing all of us to Clays, a popular musician. I guess they became friends online and everything lined up with my move. It was pretty cool to meet someone like that, to be honest. I'm not sure how our overall group dynamic will be affected by this, but I think our actions with Chiron have potential to do that even more. Defying Argus doesn't sit too well with me, but as long as Isaac promises that we are safe, I don't think I have any worry. It's also kind of cool to see a Zero enjoy life in the city. Probably the first Zero in the whole world to do so. I'm just worried that every time we turn a corner, an Argus agent will be there waiting for us. They are definitely increasing their presence in the city due to all the protesting going on. To top it off, Chiron may be coming to the Wayfarer with us, which seems pretty risky. We're going to meet in the plane again to discuss the stuff further. It will be a real test of Isaac's fix. It sucks that I have to keep all this a secret from my counselor, since he should be helping me making sense of my life. But it's certainly thrown things for a loop. The paranoia seeps into my session, sessions, and I wonder if he could be suspicious of me. Thankfully, our chats remain productive. He told me the world decided on the name Komorebi for divisions. After looking into it more, it turns out that that France came in second place with the term déjà rêve, which means already dreamed. I'm not sure which term I like better, to be honest. Komorebi does seem more in tune with nature and beauty, while déjà rêve certainly captures the mysterious and psychological nature of the phenomenon, the importance of a name. Déjà rêve. You know, it's good they didn't choose the French name, because anyone outside of France who have never learned French would pronounce this anyway wrong. They probably would call it like déjà rêve. The same reason anybody outside of that realm calls it wrongly déjà vu. And it's not called déjà vu, it's called déjà vu. Yay! Here we are. Hey, very nice. Are you alive? Now I'm waiting. Yeah, okay. Make a choice. Story, heart-to-heart content, or a group chat. Which of those do you want? And if you want one of the middle, with whom do you want a heart-to-heart? I will fetch myself something to drink. Group chat. Okay, I will do that. 1 second. And I'm back.
Experience supplemental fragment. Being sincere.
I just had an awesome idea.
Oh no.
I think you've had enough of those lately. At least make sure this one doesn't cause mass panic.
I'm hoping for the opposite, actually. Anime X is coming up. Figured we could take Clace and Delta.
Anime X. Isn't that... Is that what you would call an oxymoron? I don't know. Oxymoron is a funny word which I still always forget what it means. but good thing we have Epic soon, which will explain this to me. Or maybe Aslife is still here. He is.
It's happening again already? Feels like we just got back from last year's.
Explain to me what the oxymoron is. If you know. Otherwise, I'm well looking it up. I always forget its actual meaning. Guide me with your 2 hours of sleep through the wonders of the English language. Probably demand too much. I'm correct. An oxymoron is something that is kind of ironic. Something that seems the opposite of what you're implying. That's irony. That's irony, more or less. So, oxymoron says, like, a figure of speech in which 2 words with opposing meanings are... No, it's basically what you said. Meanings are used together intentionally for effect. In general, a contradiction in terms. But it doesn't mean it needs to be... Yeah, no, it's basically what you said. So, anime X sounds like an oxymoron, right? It's basically like saying anime is my ex. And then you go to the con called Anime X, which is like, because you're a fan of anime, you go, but Anime X implies that you have parted from anime. Which is so stupid.
Wait, I think I heard about that. It's an anime convention, right?
Yes, let's be creepy and go to an anime convention.
Yep.
I'll go, but I'd feel like I'm out of the loop. Gotta be honest, don't think I've ever watched anime before.
No! How could you? How could you? I never watched anime before. I only watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, let you all cook with that. Let you cook with that and simmer.
Ooh, bold words to speak in front of Isaac.
I think he just sealed his own fate.
Huh?
I'm kind of a fan. A big fan. If you want, I can help you feel less left out.
Oh no. Choose your words carefully what you are going to say next, Isaac.
How can we do that?
Binge Fest.
Yeah. Make not the wrong recommendations.
I mean, I guess I do have a lot of spare time. What would you recommend as my first show?
Good question. Let me think about that for a little bit.
Ooh, what about cosplay? We gonna dress up?
I think I'll just go as myself this year. Missed out on a lot of good photo ops last time.
That's no fun.
Well, what would you suggest?
Ooh, we could go as the Rebels and Revels characters we make.
The Rebels and Revels characters we make. This is funny to me because I know that Japanese people replace the letter B in words from English with V. V like vision. So him saying like an anime called Rebels and Revels. I know revel is a word, but it's also a game, a Japanese fun thing to say because it would also mean rebels and rebels. Maybe it is their version of D&D.
No way we're making fantasy costumes in a week. But that is a good idea, especially if we want to LARP one day.
Not LARP. Also, it's realistic. Making a fantasy costume in a week is, wow, crazy.
Maybe I should actually dress up? I mean, I don't want people causing a scene around me.
Just say you're cosplaying as Clace.
What is this? Tony Hawk's? I'm cosplaying as Tony Hawk's. You look like him. I know, right?
There's no way that'd work.
Care to make it interesting?
Perhaps.
Feels kinda shallow betting on an actual person.
Can I get in on that actually?
I'll allow it.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I'll get recognized no matter what. How about if I do, I win. If I don't, then you all win.
Ooh, what do we win? And how do we know you won't cheat?
You think I want to get recognized and bring a swarm to us?
Fair.
Trust me, I'll do my best to make sure you all win. It'll be fun. Like I'm an undercover agent or something.
That does sound pretty fun, actually. But the bet isn't made. We need to know the stakes.
Well, you just said it, right? It's all about stakes. Disgusting, by the way. Not real. 90% of a steak is good.
Maybe put it on the back burner for now? I mean, we still have until next week.
Sounds good to me. Wanna start that binge in the meantime?
Sure.
Anime party?
Yay, anime party. Ooh.
Sweet! Meet me in the living room. And just so you know, this is not a request.
Excuse yourself. Well done. Wir haben Neues. Go.
Experience supplemental fragment. Being selfish.
Hey,
What's up?
Now that's a new post there for Isaac.
which one of you raided the fridge?
Don't look at me.
I don't even live there.
Thankfully.
Hey, I'm trying to help out here. Delta, what about you?
I haven't seen that one. Maybe it was once somewhere.
Ugh, this could go on for hours. Whoever did it, just admit it so we can move on. Clace?
I think it was me.
You think?
Sometimes.
Wait a minute. This could be problematic.
No, I'm sorry. I was just hungry and then it all snowballed from there.
I was gonna say, you ate some of the stuff I was saving for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, the quantum leap.
The what?
We'll get into that another time. Right now, I just have to ask, did you eat those gummies?
Yeah?
Oh no.
Wait a minute. Doesn't that mean
It does.
You're starting to freak me out.
There's the first symptom, paranoia.
Symptom of what?
are you still eating right now?
Oh no, they're actually messing with Clays.
Yeah?
And there's the second. Those, weren't regular candies, Clace.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see where this is heading.
You mean...
I do mean.
But I ate all of them!
It begins.
We get to witness his downfall in real time.
What's gonna happen to me? Am I in trouble?
Well, actually...
Taylor, stop. You're gonna be fine, Clace.
Really?
Yeah, you're just gonna be hungry. That, and you'll probably have the best sleep ever.
Oh no. Is it CBD gummies? Is it CBD gummies? Oh no. I don't know. I don't know. Either it's actually cannabis in the gummies, or it's CBD, which is less harmful.
Wait, for real?
If you handle it well, yeah. You could always pull a Taylor.
Don't drag me into this! I want to sit back and watch for once!
Like you did the last time you ate gummies?
Wait, what did he do?
He called each of us like 50 times. It wouldn't stop. Wanted us to come watch some dumb film he rented.
Oh yeah, he went on and on. Kept saying it was the best movie ever.
In my defense, it was really good.
You were staring at a lava lamp.
Okay, that literally is answering my question. This is cannabis gummies.
It was riveting.
So nothing bad will happen then?
Probably not. But I still have some gummies of my own. Maybe I'll come over and spend the night with you.
Can you bring the lava lamp?
Sure thing, Bubblegum.
Oh no.
Now I'm starting to feel left out.
Taylor, you have enough for all of us?
After you embarrass me in front of him? No way.
Fair. Rude, but fair. I'll just go buy some for me and Dante.
Yeah, we can see what this lava lamp is all about.
So it's lame when I do it, but when Clace does it, it's a party.
Kinda, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to say that you lost your chance.
Fine. We'll just go buy a second lava lamp.
Oh no.
There's a sequel?
Why is the topic a lava lamp? Why? This is not a good thing because I know about a specific story that involves a lava lamp and...
Hold on. I have an idea. Let's plan a slumber party. It'll be way better. Clace can ride this one out, and next time we can group up.
Fine, but I still want to spend the night with Clace. I say that because I'm already on my way over.
Let's see how he feels about that.
Clace?
The chat is silent for a few minutes. Oh, don't worry about that.
He's passed out in a mountain of potato chips.
What? I missed all the fun.
Good thing we planned the slumber party.
Yeah, Clace just showed up early apparently. It's no big deal. More time to buy gummies anyway.
And a second lava lamp.
Fine, but I'll have to buy more food too. A lot more food.
Here's my other point. You have Clace with you. I would say Clace should also share a bit of the money. It's not like they are poor.
More food?
Suddenly coming back into reality after a few minutes. I have to say, yeah, most likely it was cannabis. Go, real nice. Delay. I'm tempted to use the chat. Next group chat, X2.
Experience supplemental fragment. Being sarcastic.
Oh god, nobody's ever sarcastic. What is this?
Hey Dante, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Well, it's just, you're such a funny guy.
Is he?
Thanks, but that's not a question.
I mean, I've read all of your books. Your sense of humor doesn't slip in there at all.
Oh, you want to know why?
Yeah, something like that. You're known for all the drama and tragedy. I kind of thought you'd be a different person.
More dark and mysterious?
Yeah, but there's definitely a mismatch.
I could say the same for you.
Huh?
You're a completely different person when you're performing. Those dance moves, that personality, it's just so extravagant.
It's all part of the job.
Then I guess my answer might be the same. It's just what sells and what I'm good at.
That's fair. But now I have another question.
What's up?
How am I different in person? Like, if you had to describe it.
A lot more quiet. Definitely reserved. I don't feel like you're moments away from belting out a solo, but actually I think that's good. It's more like the real you.
The real me, huh?
Yeah, I think we all have our work personalities. Even Isaac is a different guy on the clock.
Different how?
Well, I mastered my retail voice for one. It's super important when you work in sales.
Retail voice?
Yeah, just speak a higher pitch with exaggerated enthusiasm.
Does that actually work?
I have some of the highest numbers in the district, so you tell me.
I'll take your word for it.
Hello, customer. I'm so excited to see you. Would you like to use our newest product? It's amazing. Oh, not that high. Okay.
There you have it. We all act different when we're working, but to answer why, I guess I use my writing as an outlet. With all the dark stuff out of the way, I'm just left with what you get.
I bet you could write a good comedy, though.
Yeah, but then things would switch around. A funny book would mean a dull Dante.
As if you're not dull enough already.
And there's Taylor,
sorry.
like clockwork.
I can never pass when there's such a clear shot.
Wait, how is Taylor different when he works?
Good question.
Yeah, I actually don't know. And here I thought it was a universal rule.
Streaming is totally different, though. Your personality is the thing that sells you. Can't afford to cover that up or make a fake one.
Oh, you are wrong, Tyler. Actually, it's wrong. It's like, there's a good amount of people who make up streaming personality, and they are nothing like that in real life. Oh look, I'm looking at most anime VTube. Just to make a point. But there are a lot of other real life streamers who also make like a streamer personality that is not how they are.
Not entirely true. Some people stream in character.
See? Dante knows.
He's already enough of a character.
I'd take offense to that, but it's true. I have to tell them that I'm the same in real life.
If I didn't know you, I'd find that one hard to believe.
I'm actually a little nervous. I hope I don't kill the energy when I'm guesting. Knowing how wild you can get, I'm kind of intimidated.
It might be a good time to tap your stage personality then. Your fans will all be watching, remember? They expect to see you, or at the very least, the you they perceive you to be.
I guess so. But I kind of like being the real me. Haven't had much practice, but I'm enjoying this vacation.
Well, it's just for one night, Clace. As soon as it's over, you can go back to normal. You don't have to act around us. We like you for who you are.
Really?
Totally.
Absolutely.
Thanks. I'm glad I got to meet Isaac, and everyone else too. Definitely made this hiatus worth fighting for.
Oh no, they just described furries. How could they?
Never underestimate the power of friendship. Dante and Isaac have helped me out more times than I can count. And when you need it, we'll be there to help you too.
You will?
Yeah, whenever you need it.
Well, it's in general a thing that you often experience. Not always, but in the biggest majority. Furries are all about individualism, so therefore they are like that. They say like, be yourself, don't pretend to be someone else. Accept who you are, be who you are. That's what you very often learn in the furry community. Of course there are exceptions, like how there are exceptions in everything in life, but in comparison to here I am among this group of people and that group of people and that group of people, my experience is like, among furries, I just don't have to pretend this and that. I just can be myself. And everybody accepts it because everybody does the same thing. You know? It's almost like a freedom that is nice to have, because it's not the standard acceptance in normal social circles. Like, I'm not saying like you really are going to pretend to be someone else around your family, because most likely your family already knows you, how you are. But I feel like I still have that. Like, sure, my family, for example, my family sure knows me and so on, but they don't truly know me. Like, it's still a difference, me being around furries and me being around my family, for example. And that's why I said like, oh, you just described furries. We have noise. Next. Keep in mind, with noise, at some point the group chat is going ahead of what we are doing here, right? Just saying.
Experience supplemental fragment. Being sociable.
Hey, are you checking out Taylor's stream?
Oh look, it's the 24th of December, which means it's one of those Christmas days.
Oh, it's happening?
Yeah! Him and Clace are live right now. I've never seen his viewer count this high before. People are going wild on social media too. I think he's about to set some records.
A free celebrity endorsement. I'm not surprised. Wish I could get something like that for my next novel.
Well, it's not just for Taylor's benefit. Looks like Clace is blowing up as well.
The Eve? Probably. I don't know. To me, every time I see 24th December, to me, that's Christmas. But it's probably the 25th. I don't know.
A pop idol. Blowing up even more?
Well, there's not a lot of crossover between their two audiences. Equal opportunity for both of them to make a big splash.
Do you think Clace expected that to happen?
What, you mean like an ulterior motive?
He did say he'd talk to his publicist about it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being a business decision.
For some reason, I doubt that.
Dante is right, you know.
Whoa, he's watching.
Always.
Shouldn't you be paying attention to the stream?
Just taking a quick beauty break. Don't normally have a camera on me like this.
Oh, you guys must be on some sort of delay. Want to elaborate while you're here at least?
Well, when I offered to stream with Taylor, I just thought it'd be fun. But when I told the label, they really went wild with it. Passion for me, profit for them.
You could have just done it without telling them. Isn't that why you wanted this hiatus to begin with?
I guess, but that would feel wrong. This kind of thing will definitely affect my public image. I promised that if anything major came up, they'd know right away.
Makes sense to me. I mean, look at the viewer count. It'd be hard to find a stadium you could fit that many people in. This is like one of your biggest concerts. And then some.
You know what's really scary? It's scary when people decide to break Twitch. And they do. And I know both people that did that. Each of them. At least once. And if you wonder what I'm talking about, it's basically them going like, we're gonna break Twitch. And we're going to do this with the hype train. So what they are doing, they are planning this ahead of time. They are telling their community about it and so on. And they basically do this a very far distance from the actual date. So they go like, we're gonna do this event, so if you ever want to spend money on my channel, save it for that day. And what they did is basically like, okay, now you can donate and subscribe and gift subscribers, because then the hype train starts, right? And the hype train goes up level by level depending how much is spent, and extending the duration of the hype train. Now what they did is breaking the hype train. The hype train has only a certain amount of levels before it literally stops to go any higher. And the first person who basically did that was Pirate Software. And then Admiral Baru came along and was like, I'm going to break your record. And so he did. I wasn't there when Pirate Software was doing it, but I was there when Admiral Baru did it. Literally broke it. That as a world record on Twitch. I observed a stream where people went nuts, like wild, at spending money on Twitch. And within, what was it? Within the time frame of 1 to 3 hours, I don't remember exactly the exact time frame, they broke the hype train. And I observed how Admiral Baru literally made, in that time frame, probably around $200,000. It was a little bit below that, but it's like $185,000. But observing someone making this obscene amount of money within a time frame from 1 to 3 hours is insane. It's probably more like 1 or 2 hours. But within that time frame to earn this amount of money is insanity. But I calculated that, I think, with a 50-50 split, so it's probably over 200,000. It's just wild seeing that and go like, what the fuck, dude? Insanity. Imagine that. Like, imagine earning this amount of money in this short time frame and be like, I just earned money for 10 years. Like, you could easily live from that money for 10 years. At least in my country. But probably in any other country that's probably more towards 15 to 20 years. So I'm like, damn, son.
And nobody is expecting me to sing. Gotta say, I kinda like the lack of expectation.
I was actually reading an article about that. They say you're about to start a new trend.
Really?
Makes sense to me. You don't see many celebrities stream, but here you are, even more famous than you were before.
This is actually funny because celebrity streams exist on Twitch. For example, Porter Robinson is on Twitch streaming in rare cases. You have the one guy from Linkin Park who's streaming on Twitch basically on a regular basis, making music, sometimes playing games. Before he died, no, what was his name? Smoking weed every day. He also streamed on Twitch. So, it's actually not a unusual thing anymore on Twitch.
Yeah, I'm refreshing my feed and all I see is Clace and Taylor. People are saying you bridged a gap and made history.
Wow, keep putting the pressure on.
Oh, sorry.
We're just excited for you. Gotta say though, I'm feeling the need to brag.
I think I'll stay humble on this one.
Time passes as we all watch the stream in our own rooms.
You know, Clace is actually pretty good at video games.
Why are we watching the same stream all in our own rooms when we just could sit here in the living room and watch it together?
Either that or Taylor is letting him win.
I don't know if Taylor is capable of that. These things are a matter of pride, remember?
True. Unless he has a crush. Remember how bad he was at games when we first met?
Also true. But are you okay with that? I mean, do you want your man with Taylor?
For the last time, we're not dating. But even if we were, I wouldn't mind. Taylor's a good guy, all things considered.
That's a lot of things to consider, Isaac. Good to know you're open like that, though.
I guess Taylor's philosophy is rubbing off on me. It makes me happy to see all of you having a blast together. Before Clace arrived, I was worried our dynamic would suffer.
And here it is, doing better than ever, setting records, too. Gotta say, I'm glad you reminded me this was happening.
Working hard again?
You know it. But I deserve a little break. How long do you think they're gonna go for?
Looks like they've set a goal for an impromptu 12-hour stream, and it looks like they might hit it. Oh, wait, they definitely will. Oh, they just did.
Huh. And the little break becomes a big break. Hold on, I'll cast the stream to the living room TV. Want to grab some junk food and meet me there?
Incentive streams. Here we go.
Sure, on my way. Oh, and it's a race.
Good thing I never streamed 12 hours before. I don't even know what that means. Ah, that was a good thing to drink. I immediately put my phone down and sprint to the living room. Jesus. There you go. Ah. It's therapy time. Oh, baby.
Experience pivotal fragment. Useful inconveniences.
You're always the last to realize what you never wish to see. This plays 2 days before the stream. These sessions were quickly becoming a source of stress. The man who was supposed to guide me seems to walk a different path. I could never tell him what we did to Argus, what we did to his bosses. As I try to give him vague answers, I hope that he doesn't find me suspicious sus. His perception and ability to make me talk could easily incriminate all of us. That's a word, incriminate. Let's not call it incriminate. Let's use a word that already exists that displays the same thing that this word wants us to tell. Let's call it incinerate. My direct line to Argus has now become a liability rather than help.
Perhaps you should tell me more about this new friend of yours, Delta. Has he been a positive addition to the group? Are you scrutinizing him? Remember, you're not the only outsider anymore. You have a new perspective.
That's true. I think back to one of our earlier sessions now. He gave me advice and said that my friends would put me under a microscope. Since Glaze is the new blood now, the microscope kind of shifted to him. And now I'm looking through the lens. But it wasn't bad. I liked what I saw. Under the microscope might be a bit hyperbolic. If this was how Isaac and the others judged me, then it was fine.
Go ahead, take your time. I'm just curious to learn about your social life.
Yay, social life. What is that? Oh wait, this is my social life. Okay. Want to make a choice? Smile? So, Mr. Therapy person, you are floating in the air. Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny to actually pull this off in real life? Let's say you work in a store, and when someone approaches the counter, you look at them and you whip yourself up and down on your feet to make it look like this. and just hold eye contact with them, just to mess with them and see what they are going to do. Hello, Episode. I think he's distracted. Maybe he fell asleep. We don't know. First and last. Then we go with the first. He's great. It's cool to know somebody of note.
I can imagine it might have its benefits. But remember that he's more than just his fame. A lot of people in his life probably don't, you know? Not that I know who he is, it's just an educated guess. Some of the patients that I counsel are people of note as well. They all share similar struggles. The lack of genuine connection.
I know, that makes perfect sense. Just treat him like a person. I do that by default. The fact that other people don't is just kind of depressing. I agree. It's like, it doesn't matter who it is, they are still a person. Like, eh. Get a smile from him before he starts scribbling more notes. Nah. Every time he does that, I start to get more and more paranoid. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you ever find yourself in the situation like this, and you are in therapy and you have like these conversations and they taking notes, and you feel like getting stressed about it, anxious about it, or anything like that, you have the right as a patient to ask, can I have a look at those notes? Because what is written there is going to be more or less into your folder, and therefore you have all the rights to basically look at it. Could he tell I was hiding something? What was he writing?
Moving on, I actually wanted to ask you something. Did you watch that report last week on Komorebi's anniversary?
Didn't have much of a choice. I don't want to lose point.
Good to know that you care about your score. A lot of people just shut off their TV and take the hit. It's not a huge penalty, but it takes some time to recover.
There's no way that Isaac would have allowed that. I didn't even really watch it though, if I'm perfectly honest. I remember Argus stroking their ego and something about nostalgia. I'm curious why he brought it up. So I sit and listen.
They actually skipped over something pretty important. Do you know how Komorebi got its name?
Yeah, the vision leak into our world like beams of light in a forest. By the way, this is not a problem of like the game like out of the window. It really goes to this part.
No, not the meaning of the word, Delta. I'm talking about how the world came up with it. How we all agreed that Komorebi was the right term.
I actually don't know that story.
Odd of them to omit such a big detail, isn't it? Celebrate the history, but leave out some of the origins? It's not anything super interesting, but it's a story I like to share.
I'm actually kind of curious why the word Komorebi was chosen. It's not something I stopped to question. To me, it was just the nature of things.
When the visions first began, nobody knew what to call them. Everyone had ideas, but nobody could make a decision on behalf of the world. It had to be the other way around. The world needed to make this decision. Each country was allowed to take submissions from their citizens. Then the entire world would vote on which word or country would win. There was a huge summit where the votes were inspected and revealed.
It was like a contest? Interesting.
Japan and the submission of Komorebi won by a landslide. It was likely because of its relation to nature and beauty. We thought a term like that would make things less scary. Mitigating the fear that Komorebi created was very important. The contest helped people focus on a cause and unify once more. People argue that without it, society may have ended up collapsing.
Sounds really intense, but it also makes sense. Komorebi created chaos, and it's well documented how bad things were. Getting the entire world to band together for a friendly competition? Good idea.
We'll never know for sure, but it's interesting to think about. Anyway, I just think it's a nice story to share. But there's a little more. It leads into a lesson that I like to teach my patients.
Oh, so that's what he was doing. The story was actually just a setup for some advice. Welcome back, episode. He seems very wise, though, so I listen with my curiosity peaked.
Well, imagine yourself staring at the sun. A pretty foolish idea, don't you think?
Maybe. Is the guy some sort of psychiatrist or therapist? Yes. Why not?
Now put some trees between you and the sun. The beams shine through, becoming something new and beautiful. What could once hurt you now becomes something you can't look away from. You can only fully appreciate it because something got in the way. Next time something obstructs you, just stop and think about that. A lot of people see these things as bad, but they're not. Is it truly an inconvenience? Or is it the chance to discover something new?
I can't help but to... English? I can't help but relate this to my current situation with Cairo. Feels like sheltering this zero is going to get in the way of my life. Or at least the path I expected my life to take when I arrived. I've been so quick to think woe is me and pity myself. But perhaps I should take this metaphor to heart and change my thinking. What originally got in my way might just make my life more beautiful in the end. No, look it directly into the sun. Nothing will happen, I promise. Well, you can make the sun appear at any given place. If you do. What you gonna be? What you gonna be? Tell me. Who? Okay.
Experience heart-to-heart fragment. Clase 2.
That's one day before the stream, and the next day after the therapy session. I feel like this place is basically my second home. Yeah, consider all the coffees and all the specials and teas you can drink here, and the 2 food menu items you can eat. I've been here so much lately, and yet I keep coming back. But just like with Dante, this time it was for a one-on-one meeting. And not just with anybody, but the newest addition to our group. See the word coffee on the board, and now I want a cup of coffee. Shall go make one. Don't go too much overboard with coffee a day, but I enjoy. He specifically requested it too. Somehow I found that kind of flattering. When I think about it, he approached me at the nightclub too. Maybe it's just like he said, lost and clueless, but together. With everything going on, that seems to fit my mindset more and more. So much up in the air, I just wish a few things would start to land. Even if they didn't stick the landing, at least I could stop worrying. I make my way to the table Clace is sitting at. He looks very unassuming. A couple of heads turn in his direction, but I don't think people recognize him.
Hey, Delta. You know, this time I'm not actually hungover. Might be a good time to try something different.
On what day did Clace eat all those gummies? He strikes a thinking pose as he goes over the menu.
Been having a lot of those gummies, too. When I have them, I eat everything in a 20-kilometer radius. It's both good and bad, though. Gotta watch that waistline.
I think this is No, this is after. Because tomorrow is the stream day. Yeah, that probably happened like yesterday or something. I eat everything in a 20-kilometer radius. Interesting. I think I need to have a chat with a friend. I'm curious now. He takes a big sip of the ice water in front of him.
Just one of the many things I'm contractually obligated to do. You know, the work never stops, even when you think it does. Hiatus? It's basically nothing more than a glorified formality.
What did I come back to? Komorebi. We are in our favorite restaurant, bar, whatever. So the industry controls his body in addition to his personal life? Everything about what he's been telling me just seems awful. He shakes his head, like he's stopping an incoming rant.
Sorry. I invited you here because I wanted to apologize. I still feel really bad for that conversation we had at the nightclub. After a few drinks, I guess I just start to say whatever comes to mind.
Choices! Let's go. Very nice. Or everything, or both. No, choices. You two are like the best. I love you two. Like, if I ever want a catastrophe from... if I ever want to prevent any kind of catastrophe that needs intervention of a choice, I would just put you two there. Because there will be no choice, and therefore no catastrophe. It's perfect. You are like literally the anti-Twitch chat. Impersonal. Should I feel insulted by that? No, not really. It's just funny. It's just funny to me. Blah, blah, blah. Like I said, don't take this the wrong way or as any kind of insult. It isn't. I'm just so amused about that. Well, I'm honored you actually engage in this chat. Don't feel bad. I would love to do it again sometime.
Wait, really? Well, you do owe me some info in return.
I do?
Now that I think about it, I talked about myself an awful lot, but it actually felt like you were listening, so I appreciate that.
He flips the pages of a journal that rests in front of him. Must be his diary. Diary, yeah. A place to vent all his woes.
It was better than writing it down in here. That's just some advice from my old manager, though. Never vent to another person. They're walking gossip machines. He didn't even want me to keep notes in my phone. Just this diary.
Sounds like someone was overly cautious. But I guess it's for the best, given how in the spotlight he is. I chose not to speak, letting him continue talking about himself.
But he's not my manager anymore, I guess. Passed away a while back, during my world tour. They just gave me a new one, like he didn't even matter. But I guess I don't really matter either. When I'm gone, another idol will step right up. It's like a machine. It keeps going, despite you.
That's the reality. He looks off to the side like he's sad and ashamed. You shouldn't. Right after apologizing, he's already back to talking about work. I can kind of understand. He's known little else for his entire life. A very well-oiled machine. He flips through the pages of his diary, directing my attention toward it. I said toward. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't mean to snoop. The motion just drew the attention of my eyes. I can see a sketch, a happy family standing next to a car. They all had names drawn beside them, but the page moved far too fast. All I could make out was one of their names started with a W. I quickly look back at Claes as he continues to talk.
When he died, I was emancipated. I wasn't old enough to sign my initial contracts, so he did it for me. Honestly, it was the closest thing I ever had to something normal. They kept bugging me, saying I had to sign new contracts of my own. I managed to negotiate this hiatus, so I could have some time off. Told them it was so I could grieve, but I just wanted time away. A breath of fresh air can change almost anything, especially when you're locked inside all the time, like I was. This life is brand new for me, just like it is for you, Delta.
He places his paw on top of mine.
And that's why I feel like we have something special. Even if it's just a lingering feeling that'll slowly fade away. You may get to keep this life, but for me, it's just a glimpse.
Something inside of me feels really weird. I can't tell if he's trying to be romantic or just a good friend. But when he speaks now, I don't feel that anxiety, that hesitation. Just like when he blew that kiss to the crowd and put on a smile. There's something about this, and that feels like it could be an act too. Perhaps he's just trying to exit his comfort zone while he still can.
You know, you learn a thing or two in this industry. How to charm people, make them want you. At least on stage. Off of it, I'm oblivious.
Blaze is adorable. All these characters are. Yeah.
But I've been thinking about the quantum leap. It might be my first and last chance to take part. Never been to a proper New Year's Eve bash.
He blushes and looks from side to side. The paw still remains on mine, a soft, gentle grip.
Would you consider being my date for the evening? Or at the very least, spend a midnight with me? There should still be enough for the others.
Thoughts of the potential night fly through my mind. 4 midnights and 4 of my new friends. Obviously, I don't think Chiron would be there. I remember Clay saying that he wasn't allowed to date. This probably isn't a serious offer, just some fun. You know, to make the most of the hiatus. I think for a moment before speaking. So is this the hint of saying like, okay, you can date up to 4 people? It's not allowed to date. Well, I think it's like a harsher version of the entire reality, right? So if he would date, then he also needs additional time for his private life, which of course is not in the interest of the industry. Also, it creates a potential crack in security, right? So let's say he would actually date a private person, not like another idol or anything, then there's the potential that this person is getting harassed by reporters and other things, and they try like to get informations about Clays through them and so on. So I guess this is a security measure they use, but it's certainly not like a standard procedure in our world, as celebrities have a private life and date people. You mean Chiron? Why do you suddenly come to Chiron? Are those 2 different things you're writing there? The he's not allowed to date refers to Clays, because it was just mentioned, and then you write, I mean Chiron, in what context? As a sip on this wonderful glass of wine. No, I don't have wine. The he in my statement referred to Chiron, because Claire said Chiron is not allowed to date. There's a history function, right? Was there a history function? Apparently not. No. As I read it and heard it, the whole thing about not allowed to date is referring to Clays, not Chiron. Chiron was only mentioned in the sense of we are not sure if Chiron actually can attend the New Year's Eve thing. But with noise, anything to put in here? I'm pretty sure this is separate, that one of the things is literally Chiron probably won't be there at the event. And the dating part is referred to Clays. But I could be wrong. I don't know. There's no history to look back. And I cannot, like, go back. So I'm not sure myself. Okay, second option. I'll spend a midnight with you, but just as friends. Squeeze his hand softly before pulling my own back. I squeeze his paw softly before pulling my own back. He seems fine with my answer, but I can tell it didn't go the way he wanted.
I think that's fine. I mean, I think that's all I need. I just thought it'd be nice to experience something more for once. Probably an act of rebellion. My time of freedom is fleeting after all.
So it was just as I thought. It's probably for the best that I said no then. It would actually be unfortunate to turn this friendship into something more. Even if I wanted to, he would be going back to work pretty soon. We'd run out of time. He starts messing with his scarf, looking like he's zoned out.
I just hope that nothing gets in the way. When I think about Isaac and Chiron, I start to freak out. I mean, we wouldn't know we're in trouble until it's already too late. I even started to have some bad dreams about it. Embarrassing, I know, but good thing I have those gummies. A sound, dreamless sleep. Even suppresses my vision, too.
I don't know what the actual effects of real cannabis is on a person when it comes to sleep. I don't know. I only know the effects when you take CBD, which is not this. It's pretty peculiar, but it's also an ambitious statement. In this moment, I'm confused if his vision is good or bad. Out of respect, I chose not to bring it up at this time.
By the way, were you gonna order anything? I'm gonna keep it light since we're coming back here tomorrow. I ate too much junk food on the plane anyways. Gotta cut back.
They sleep very hard. I don't know. I have no idea. I can ask someone. I shake my head. I just came back here to speak with him. But we're coming back with Karen tomorrow for the first time. I would order something special. It was a momentous occasion after all.
Well, I'd hate to come and not order anything at all. Maybe I'll just grab a salad or something like that.
There's no salad.
Let's throw that all out the window for New Year's Eve. We can let loose and make it a real party. Sound good? Life's no fun without breaking the rules from time to time.
I know, it sounds like a good time. I know, it sounds like a good idea to me. If there's a night you shouldn't hold back, it's definitely New Year's Eve.
Maybe I'll even perform a song, if I get the courage. I heard Isaac say something about live music. Looks like it'll be a pretty big party.
For some reason I thought it would just be our little group. Especially since Clay requested some privacy during his stay. But it might be more effective to blend into a crowd, to be honest. Trust me. You know what trust me means, right? But yeah. It's okay. Which gives me the idea. Which gives me the point of like, I should never do any cannabis before sleep. Because I already can sleep through all the shit anyway. Not that I really intend to do that. I know what you mean, Epitsune. It's just this funny part of like, whenever someone says like, trust me, it's like, okay. I know what you mean. And yes, I do trust you on that statement. Especially if Argus ever found out what we did. How do English I do, how be we are. So they do, we want some fraud. What? Well, we do one of these.
Experience pivotal fragment. A brief reprieve.
Do a little bit of catch up. Surrender is worse than defeat, as it comes with the loss of hope. We all sit around the kitchen table, much like we did when we were pre-gaming. This part of the house became reserved for our more special plans. Oh, interesting, what special plans? And starting a campaign in Rebels and Revels was certainly special. But not only that, everyone also stocked up on those gummies. Why is everybody becoming now a drug addict? So we be role-playing under the influence. A pretty tall order. These games usually had pretty complex systems to abide by. But with Taylor as our GM, I'm sure he would be pretty lax. I feel like he'll make it fun, even if my character sheet looked like a spreadsheet. There's one thing I knew, it's that nobody liked working with spreadsheets. That is correct. Despite that spreadsheets are quite handy most situations, but yeah. Money. Meanwhile, Epizone, spreadsheets are my life. I created my character and named them after myself. Buttface? Sorry. Delta, a sword-wielding warrior, but that's all I knew. This world and my place in it, I had no clue. You know what? Since we are this and my place in it, and I started to play Zenless Zero, Zenless Zone Zero. In Zenless Zone Zero, there's a character that lives in a trash can. And yes, I'm not joking, it's literally a trash can. You'd never see the character. You just know that he is literally in the trash can and he lives there. Which is weird to begin with, but it's at the same time like kind of making fun of like, I'm an animal weeb, so therefore I live in a trash can. I'm trash. Boop, reboop. No, it's not Oscar. So that was one thing, and this is a stable character that actually exchanges things with you for other things. Now, get this, at some point you get an optional quest from a character at the cafe called Hannah. And Hannah is like, oh, I'm looking for a new place, and the new place should be this and that and this and that. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, then go to an agency that looks for a place like that. And then she goes like, oh no, I'm actually just looking for a trash can to live in. Yes, this is a serious quest. So you are going to look for her, for a nice trash can to live in. You find it. You go back to her. You find it, you take a photo of it, and then go back to her. And she's like, oh, this trash can looks a little bit big to actually live in. We're talking about a trash can that is half the size of a human, next to a vending machine. And you go like, what? Do you like small trash cans? And then she's going like, oh no, this is not for me. It's for a stray cat. I want to turn a trash can into a home for the stray cat. So the cat doesn't have to like stay in the rain when it's raining and so on. And then you go like, why don't you just adopt the cat? And she goes like, oh, wait, you're right. I actually could do that. Huh, how stupid of me. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And yes, that's your side quest. And I'm like, you have a character already living in a trash can, and then you give me a side quest where a character literally asks you to find a trash can to live in? It's like, what's going on? And this is not the only occasion where you find people in trash cans. Like these big American trash cans, like these white trash cans. You find people like being in those. Like you don't see the person, you just can talk to the trash can. And it's like, oh yeah, he's drunk. And ended up in a trash can. I don't understand exactly why this game is so into this idea of people living in trash cans, but I think they are very proud of weeps living in trash cans, I guess. It's like making fun of yourself. But enough of that. It's odd how kind of a mirror. It's odd how that kind of mirrored how I felt in real life. A game set in a completely different world, and I can still relate. Holy shit, it's like me playing a game, and maybe I can also relate to some degree. Also, I'm actually envious of this wonderful fridge that I see there with this giant freezer section. I wish I had that. Minus the ice maker thing for drinks. That is absolutely unnecessary in my regard. For me. That's probably a good sign though. I would hate to play as someone I couldn't relate to.
Alright, well, I don't want to get started just yet. These things usually take a little while to kick in, you know? Maybe we should just chat and relax until I'm ready to go.
Oh? Nervous about being a GM?
Maybe a little, but it'll disappear. I usually end up locked to the couch when I have these things. If I start to doze off, I give you permission to write on my face.
Permission appreciated, and likely to be abused. Chiron, you got any special requests? I'll draw on your behalf.
We all turn our heads toward the table. I said toward. On what? Oh, tablet. We all turn our heads toward the tablet on the table. A slightly choppy video call with Chiron was already in well progress. It was too risky to have him over just yet, but he was happy to join remotely.
I'm pretty sure all our minds went to the same place. Let's keep it a secret. I want to hear him scream when he looks in the mirror.
Pretty sure he does that every morning anyway.
Wow, rude. And I'm organizing this entire campaign for you. Figured you could show me a bit more respect.
We will. Until you pass out, that is. And if you feel bad, just remember that you did this to yourself.
Isaac waves a permanent marker in the air, as if it were a threatening gesture. It's true at least. It's true at least. Taylor is the one who came up with the wager. As I feel gummies kick in, I just hope that I don't pass out either.
Anyway, Chiron, how are things going? Hopefully nobody's given you any trouble.
Oh, it's fine. Totally living a life of luxury. I could use some better food, though. The stuff on board is super stale.
Oh, that's no good. But definitely expected. It's actually part of why I chose that jet.
Wait, you chose the stale food on purpose? Heartless.
No, not the stale food. It was the rarely used jet. Any other one and you might have woken up in the air.
That sounds like it'd be fun, though.
It'd be a great way of getting caught, though.
Fair. I've just been craving some adventure, I guess.
This campaign should definitely scratch that itch.
I've never really played Rebels and Revels before, but I'm sure it will. And if you really need to get out, we can always go back to the Triple R.
I'd rather come to Isaac's place, honestly, especially after hearing about the quantum leap.
That's still a bit too dangerous. But I'm hoping to know more soon.
Yeah, it's hard with all those Argus agents walking the streets. It's just making tensions rise across the board. Not a help at all.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. Armed Argus agents watching the protests. It's probably just an intimidation tactic.
That's a pretty bad way to de-escalate conflict, though. The threat of retaliation? And even further escalation?
It's worked in the past.
Really?
Yeah. If you're set up to fail, then there's no point in striking. But it's really confusing in this situation. It's all been peaceful.
That's why a lot of people don't trust Argus. A lot of moves they make are equally good and bad. But behind the shroud of mystery, most people focus on the bad. Why hide something if there's nothing to hide, right? I think Argus' silence is their greatest weakness. Things could be so much better than they are.
Well, at least there's no agents around my plane. But I agree. Argus needs to step up and say something. All of this could be resolved with a single meeting.
Oh yeah, I heard that Cypher is calling for the leader of Argus. They've never appeared in public before, so nobody knows who they are. But things are currently at a stalemate, so they might actually show up.
I can confirm that one, actually. Argus is kind of a mystery. The farther you go up the chain of command, the more secretive things are. I'd love to see the leader appear and negotiate, but I doubt it'll happen.
Well, if Argus does nothing, then we win anyway. Hermes is going to get phones to all those zeros regardless.
That's what Hermes said, at least. Nobody knows the true goals of either side here. But giving Argus time to act might end up backfiring.
How so?
Well, it's hard to get food in the city if you're a zero.
Right, the starvation thing.
That, and each second gives Argus more time to plan. If they had agents good at acting, they could even infiltrate the Zeros.
Or Cypher, for that matter. They could sneak in and tear it apart from the inside. People say Argus is just doing nothing, but I doubt it. It's more like we can't see what they're doing. But in their minds, I'm sure they've already planned it all. Whatever happens in the next week or two is likely by their design.
So if they let Cypher get phones to the Zeros?
It'd be a valid tactic. Let them break the law and then crack down. But I think we'll be seeing a move from Argus first.
What makes you so certain?
Well, if they don't do anything, Zeros could start dying. I can already see some of them on the streets looking famished.
Oh.
Hermes extended an olive branch, sure. Argus could end this immediately by embracing the Zeros. But the longer they don't, the worse everyone's condition is getting. I can't imagine what it's like to be Hermes right now. But if they're anything like me, they know where they messed up. If Argus doesn't comply, they really could get phones to all the Zeros. So this whole you do it or I will thing actually makes sense. I just wish that Cypher would strike while the iron is hot. Waiting on Argus to act is just endangering lives.
What a complex situation. Seems like the Zeros would get the phones regardless though. And those phones would either come from Cypher or Argus. However, the longer both sides wait to act, the more lives are at stake. So Argus is the company that is literally controlling everybody in the city. They making the devices which keep the control over every citizen. They have the entire system with the score points and enforce it. And Cypher is the name of the rebels, aka it's basically the Zeros, a faction of Zeros from the outside. People who are Zeros have lost all their points. They are getting exiled from the city. So they live around the city in camps. But they are not allowed to come into the city because they are Zeros. And out of those people, a rebel faction has formed called Cypher. And Hermes is the leader of the Cyphers. And a group of Zeros actually came into the city to do a peaceful protest. And yes, they are hungering because literally they cannot eat food in the city because they cannot get any food in the city. They cannot go in any store. They cannot buy anything because they don't even have any money to pay with. Because everything is digital. And that's the problem. And the other problem is, if ever someone reaches 0 points and becomes exiled from the city, therefore called a Zero, anyone from like any any child they have become automatically a Zero. So if someone fucks up their life and becomes a Zero, if they ever have any children, these children automatically become Zeros. Which of course is absolutely unfair because they didn't do anything wrong. But by system, it is what it is. I hope that helps. Not every Zero had a friend like Isaac to get them into the system. If casualties become affected, then my heart would shatter. However, Argus is certainly losing some credibility. You're welcome. I even saw a news poll that almost everybody wants to help the Zeros. The longer Argus takes, the more public opinion shifts to support Cypher. And if a Zero died on the streets of starvation, well, I imagine the shift would turn into more of a landslide. But maybe that's part of Cypher's game, eroding Argus's public image. Whoever this Hermes was, they are definitely a genius. Holding the people that govern the world in a stalemate? I just wish that the pieces on the board weren't actual lives.
Any chance we could get things moving? I know the world is depressing, so that's why I wanted to do this. The slumber party and this new campaign, it's more like an escape.
We all exchange glances and nod. The slumber party was supposed to be fun, not scary. Try as we might, I don't think we could affect what was happening outside. And so, we stay inside, in an attempt to drown out the external drama. But as we are about to start our campaign, I can't help but to stare at the table. A board is placed down with figurines in various spots ready to move. And Taylor, behind the cardboard partition, looks down at it. One person completely in charge, despite the will of the characters. One person guiding things down a specific path, no matter what happens. Power word, GM. I will become the GM. In that moment, it was impossible to deny the parallels. I can only hope that Taylor is a merciful GM. And perhaps Argus is a merciful cooperation. A merciful corporation. Cooperation? But yeah, I think we're gonna stop here. This is a good amount of part. We have like 2, if not 2.5 hours of it. So, that's okay. Should also save. No.